Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 30 of Spreading the News. I am your host, Chase Carucci. First off, before we get into everything, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has watched throughout the season, who has listened throughout the season. As you can tell, the season for the Yankees is officially over, unfortunately. But thank you for those who have kept up and followed us on this journey. And hopefully we can keep it going and keep growing as a team. And as you guys can see, I'm very disappointed as I'm wearing my Knicks hat. I did that on purpose. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing my Knicks gear because they're going off and the Nets suck.
Where's
So
my Nets hat?
we are here with Brian.
How's everybody doing? I would classify today as a sad and bad day. Well, I mean, the Yankee season ended a few days ago, but this episode is probably going to be, I don't know if it's going to be more sad or it's going to be more like angry because
I don't know. Have we cooled off? If we did it like right after it happened, I feel like it would be more anger filled. But I feel like we might be cooled off by now.
I don't know. I feel like once we get to talking about it and like the recent announcement they made, I feel like we
Yeah.
might, we'll see.
Well, part of that's my fault because I know I said that we were gonna have an episode right after the series, but that's my fault because I was away and I wasn't able to get.
We didn't think this series would end in 4 games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we didn't expect the Yankees to get fucking swept, for lack of a better term. But Danny's obviously also here. Danny, how are you doing today?
Doing good. You know how it is.
Just running it up.
Count down the days till Yankee baseball comes out. Actually,
God, no.
don't count it down.
I don't want
Let's go
them to come
Giants.
back.
6-1. Giants are 6-1 right now. Big Blue.
I'm certainly not counting down the days.
It's actually really weird because the Jets and Giants are good. The Yankees are out. And the Knicks are off to a solid start. And obviously the Nets will figure it out, but it's just weird because it feels like everything is going right in New York sports except for the Yankees right now. So really, really weird. But we're just gonna jump right in. We're not gonna waste any time. The Yankees season is over. So the Yankees got swept in 4 games by our daddies, the Houston Astros. Danny, since you
Embarrassed.
that was campaigning for the Yankees, that you wanted Houston way back when, I think at the trade deadline or before the trade deadline when we had that episode. I want you to start us off. Let us know your thoughts.
I stand by that statement. I stand by it. They embarrassed us. They put us in the ground. They fucking showed who we really are. And I think Brian's about to like go at me and say, how the fuck could you want them? Like, to be the best, you got to beat the best. I think it's a bitch mentality to not want to play the best. If you think you're the best, you got to play the best, beat the best. Obviously, we weren't the best because we fucking suck. We suck. This team sucked. The Guardians should have been an easy sweep. It took 5 games. 5 games. It's like on paper, that's a fucking easy sweep. Okay, they were getting all these blue hits, but it doesn't matter. Yankees still should have figured it out. We code into Houston, and the offense just can't hit. We can't hit anything. Aaron Judge is a shell of himself. Aaron Judge, I am very disappointed. He should be embarrassed. I think he probably is. Very disappointed, Aaron Judge. But yeah, I stand by the statement that I wanted to play them. I wanted to beat the best team. I wanted to get revenge on them, but they're just a lot better of a team than we are. And we would have lost to the Mariners too, and I think that honestly would have even been more embarrassing losing to the lower seed Mariners. If we played the Mariners, we wouldn't have beat them either. We wouldn't have beat anybody in the series. Even if the Blue Jays were against us, I don't know if we would have beat them. It's just, I'll stand by my statement. Bitch mentality to not want to play the best, and we got embarrassed. They showed us who we really are. They showed us that we need to make changes. Now it's on the higher ups. Hal Cashman is coming back, so it's on them now to make the necessary changes that this team needs to get up to the next level.
Brian, your thoughts?
Well, it's not that you wanted to play them, which is still just insane to me, but also the whole year, me and Chase have been telling you that there's no way we were beating this team, and you said that we could.
We could.
And
it's not like we couldn't. Like, it's not like we couldn't. Like, when you say can't,
we couldn't.
Can't. Like, 1 or 2 things could have went the other way, and we won the game. So it's not like we couldn't have won the game. It's not like we couldn't.
We couldn't beat the Astros this year.
We couldn't hit their pitching. They couldn't
year.
really hit our pitching. We couldn't hit their pitching.
I think the most depressing part of the entire series was probably game 1 for me, because if you go back to last episode, I told you guys that my key to the series was to take 1 game in Houston. Not only did they not take a game at all, but they had a chance to take game 1 in Houston. They had Verlander up to like 70 pitches through like 3 innings, and they were looking really, really good against him. and they just couldn't execute. They couldn't get the big hit like me and Brian have always been wary of them not getting the big hit. And I know Danny, you always say you need to hit the big home run, which is
We
true
didn't.
because we didn't. And the Yankees just like it
But
almost
they
felt
never
like
do.
it almost felt like they blew it in game one, like it was over after game one. And game two after that we had against who we I can't even remember that far back. Who did we face in game two?
Framber.
Yeah, Framber Valdez, and he pieced us up. I mean, what did we score? 2 runs? I think we had
2 unearned runs. Unearned.
2 unearned runs on that Stanton slow dribbler back to him on the mound, and then the Yankees scored on that situation. But one word I want to go around to describe this Yankees ending to the season. I guess the easy word to think or remember is embarrassing. I mean, I don't know if you. I want to hear what you guys have to say for your one word.
It's gonna sound like 2 words, but it's a hyphenated 2 words, so it counts. It's eye-opening. I think if we know for the fans and we've known that they need to make some fucking drastic changes. I wasn't on board with that last year, but now after this, like, I want to blow it up. And I think that they should want to blow it up, but they don't. They still want to run it back with the same front office and Boone again, and probably relatively the same team. I can't speak on that yet because we don't know what the offseason will bring, but I'm going to say my hopes are pretty low. It should open their eyes that they need to be very different, that they can't compete with Houston as currently constructed. They can't compete with a lot of teams as currently constructed. And I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was such a great point. And I hate to like kind of use their take, but it's still it stuck with me. In the Talking Yanks episode after the season ended, John Boy said something about how Boone and Cashman and the Yankees front office and probably some of the players still think that they're like the top tier in the league. Like they still view themselves as like the Yankees, like the 90s Yankees, like the unbeatable evil empire, like scary team that people don't want to play. And meanwhile, that the rest of the league and everyone else views them as not that. And he said, he said he was speaking directly to them, you're closer to the Mets than you are the 90s Yankees, and you still think you're the 90s Yankees. And I think that's so true. Like they don't get it. Like, because Boone said something about like the rest of the league caught up to them like last year, which like caught up to you how? Like you didn't even make the World Series like the past like since in 13 years, like caught up how? You need to catch up. So I would use, that eye-opening. They got to figure their shit out because it's not working.
Danny, your one word?
I mean, I said embarrassing before, so like I'll stick with embarrassing. It's just Brian. I like that eye-opening, and the fact that Cashman is coming back. I know Boone should be fired too. Obviously, Cashman should be fired, but I don't think Boone being fired would do as much as you think it would, because we fired Girardi right after an 8-year World Series drought. All right, we brought in Boone, still didn't win. I think the problem lies above more. I think it starts with Cashman and then Boone is secondary. I think Cashman is the guy that's got to go first, or at least people around Cashman have to go. Like something has to change higher up before they change with Boone. I don't think we can win with Boone either, but I think more of the problem lies higher up than it does with Boone.
I think that's a fair point. I guess we won't know because the Yankees aren't making changes to their front office. I'm just to reiterate what you said. They're not what you both said, that they're not making changes and that both of them are expected to come back because Hal Steinbrenner doesn't see this as an issue. What's going on? So
I don't seriously, like as a fan, like the three of us are big fans, everybody, like as a fan, if they don't change anything drastically, like how on earth are you supposed to go into next year excited?
I'm not.
Like,
I'm not going to.
I'm gonna sit through 162 again, maybe sneak into the playoffs just to lose again. Like I'm sick of it. Like, and Boone, his whole fucking tenure here or New York is how close they are. And I think this year really proved how far they are. They're so further off from the rest of the league than they think they are. That goes back to my other point. Like I think they don't see it as a problem. Like they think that like what they're doing right now is good and like they're gonna break through one year. And like they don't see like severe issues like we do. And I'm not obviously like we want to think that they know a lot more than we do, but I just don't know how you could sit here and look at this team in the Boone era and think that they have any chance of winning the World Series. It's gotten worse. Like really, they've gotten worse. Like all they've done, like I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit, but like when we talked about, it was probably one of our first episodes when we talked about the IKF Donaldson trade. We were kind of surprised we weren't like really big fans of it. but we didn't think it would have as much impact as it did on the season. Like, I think those two were our worst hitters the entire year, or maybe two worst players. So like and especially in the playoffs, how bad Donaldson was. IKF was himself. He actually wasn't bad offensively in the playoffs, but defensively was what we've been saying all year. He like that trade was, just the last thing that Cashman did that was like, wow, like that took us so much further back. And it's not even because I miss Gio or Gary. Like those guys, I liked Gio, I didn't like Gary, but like whatever we traded didn't really matter because the return we got and how bad those guys were, like that, it was so like, I can't believe how much of an impact those two really had on the team in a negative way. And that just can't be excused, like, especially in New York. Like the guy that's making that got to go. And I was the longest Cashman defender there was, but it's time. But it doesn't matter because they're not doing anything.
Yeah, and how about not even just the upper management with Boone and Cashman, Boone and Cashman and Hal, but how about the players? I mean, I'm sure you guys saw the quote, or not even the quote, but the report from, I think it was Andy Martino of SNY, talking about how pretty much like it was just like a sour taste left in the Yankee players' mouths of how the Yankee fans treated the Yankee players in that home series against Houston, which I see Danny shaking his head is completely ridiculous. I mean, when you sign up to be a New York Yankee, you sign up for that kind of criticism, being in the public eye, being in the number one media market in the entire world, being in one of the most passionate fan bases in sports. It just goes to show, not only does this team need change from management and from the front office from that kind of standpoint, but they might need changes on the whole roster. Like, I could see the Yankees, at least in my opinion, I would hope that the Yankees would change up their whole roster for next season. I mean, you keep Bader. I like Bader. Danny, you were right about Bader. Bader had a good series. Bader had a really, really good playoffs. But Judge, who knows if Judge is coming back? I mean, it's gonna be a lot of rumors coming up until when the time that happens. I see that the Dodgers are now freeing up space for Judge, so they can move Mookie to second base, which would be absurd. But I mean, Glaber's like came out and said that the Marlins trade talks really bothered him. Like we said, like that might be bothering him. It seemed like that was actually true, that it really did bother him.
Soft.
I mean, this team needs significant changes, and not to mention that obviously Kiner Falefa and Donaldson have to go, and Hicks, and I mean that's
and Glaber. I'm classifying Glaber.
Glaber
players in your lineup.
Back.
That's
I'm
6
done
of your
with
9
Glaber.
players in your lineup that you don't want back. Like that's a serious issue. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. This is the first time in my life as a Yankee fan where I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like we usually have a pretty good feel for the kind of players that they're going to target, or even if they're going to target anyone at all. This is the first time that I've been a Yankee fan where I don't know what's going to happen, whether they're going to blow it up or run it back, especially if they retain Judge. So
this is the worst I've felt about them in a long time, like in years, really, because what else do you need to see than an embarrassing sweep like that than to change things? And they've already said, like, at the very least, just tease us a little bit and be like, yeah, we'll have to reevaluate everything. Nope. Like right away, right after the game. Nope. Everyone's coming back. Like, we know we have something special. Like, no, you fucking don't. And it starts with the attitudes too. Like you could, like the players sucked in the playoffs. The managing was horrendous. But like we said, like the attitudes are just insane to me. Like, how are these guys professional athletes? Like Glaber's trade talks, like go fucking cry about it. They're upset that they're booing Judge. Play better. Like I'm sick of all the fucking excuses. And the excuses start with our fucking manager who's complaining about the roof being open or closed, whatever the fuck his problem was in Houston.
Open.
And they were complaining about the exit velos. Oh, Bregman's exit velo wasn't as hard as Judge's. Doesn't matter. Just play better. Shut up. Like win the games. And they're complaining about the fans. This is my favorite quote from what happened. I don't know if you guys saw the Michael Kay show after when they were talking about the fans and like how the Yankees were like upset about the fans because they're soft. Don LaGreca said, don't put it on the fans. The fans are passionate. They've been that way forever. It's not going to change. If you can't take it, then get out. I can't say it better myself. Like that, like the fans have been that way since the Yankees were established. Like if you can't handle it, like you don't belong here. And it seems like the whole team can't handle it. It's from what I'm seeing. And I need somebody to like step up. And we think Judge is like, a captain guy, but he didn't do it in the playoffs. As great of a
Peter won before he was captain.
He
didn't do it in the playoffs. I mean,
Peter was a World Series MVP before he was a captain.
I mean, Aaron Judge, he had an incredible regular season, one of the most incredible seasons you'll ever see, but his playoffs was one of the most miserable seasons you'll ever see. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, he literally was playing like a 7, 8, 9 hitter in the bottom of the lineup for the Mariners. I mean
He
that's
was
how
literally a
bad.
defensive specialist. That's what he
I
was.
mean, that's really how bad he was. And
Him
I
and
hate
Chaz
it,
McCormick switch roles.
and I'm hating seeing all these players and all these sources and these people on Twitter coming out and saying like, oh, like look at the season that Judge just gave. Like no, like it matters most when the lights are brightest in playoffs. Like this is where it matters. Like you have to come together and prove yourself and just show that you're not a fluke and lead your team to the ultimate goal. And
I mean,
go ahead, Brian.
Every single person on the team deserved to get booed unless your name is Anthony. Every single hitter deserved to get booed unless your name is Anthony Rizzo or Harrison Bader. Everybody deserved a booing. That was one of the softest things, and that includes Judge. People say it's crazy to boo Judge after what he did for us. He carried us to the playoffs. It doesn't matter if he carried us to the playoffs. It doesn't matter. At that point, we don't win a World Series. It doesn't matter if he hit 300 home runs this season or 0. We lost. The winning is the only thing that matters. So people say it's ridiculous booing Judge. How could you boo Judge? He deserves it. We're not booing Aaron Judge and what he did for us this year. We're booing his performance in the playoffs. Like it's a way for fans to express anger, which they deserve to have with what this team has done year in and year out. Give us false hope. Go into the playoffs. Roll over and fucking die. Judge being one of those. Judge has had good postseason stats, but we've seen series where he is just non-existent. Like his stats overall, because he's had a series here and there. He's had a couple series. He's not a consistent playoff player, and this was horrible across 2 series. He just never got it going. And we keep saying Judge has to get it going, just has to get it going. And he just never did. He deserves to get booed. I don't care. He deserves to get booed.
I'm in 100% agreement with you there. And I think Judge has, I think not me specifically. Obviously, I want the Yankees to retain Judge. I want him back. But I think he's honestly shifted the needle for a lot of Yankee fans that the Yankee fans don't want him back, I think, after this playoff series. I think Yankee fans are scared to give him, say, a 10-year contract for $360 million. I think a lot of fans are really scared, and I think rightfully so, because I mean, yeah, like this guy's a phenomenal regular season player, but when it gets to the brightest moments in the playoffs, what is this guy going to give you? Because he hasn't really given you much.
I mean, I think it's silly not to want him back, kind of. I think we got to bring him back. We have to. I mean, this team is nothing without him.
He's the face of the Yankees. I mean,
but I don't want him to be like I was the only one here out of us 3 that didn't think he was a captain. We had this conversation in the beginning of the season. I was the only one who said he's kind of got to do a little more. Like the playoff, we got to see the playoffs. He's got to win. He's got to win an MVP. I don't want my captain to be someone who did this when our team needed him most. Like, yeah, okay. You say Judge hitting 300 wouldn't have carried that lineup to a World Series. Like he carried them this far, let other people carry. Who says? Judge gets up in a big spot, flies out to the wall. Okay, yeah, it would have been gone if the roof was cold. So what? That pitch was right down the middle. That's usually a ball Judge sends 450 feet. But instead it was a fly out to a short right field that shouldn't have even been close to going out. I don't want my captain to be a guy that does that. Like he's got to come through when it matters most. I don't care how many home runs he hit. I don't care about 62 right now. Like, yeah, it's great. He's going to win MVP. Awesome. 62. Great. Big accomplishment, big accolade, award, record, whatever. What was it for? And Judge is the first one to say he doesn't care about personal stats, personal anything. So what does 62 mean if we didn't win? What does it mean?
I think you covered that beautifully. I don't know how else to put that, but it's depressing, man. It really is. It really is, as I'm smiling through that. But I'm very curious to see how actually Brian Cashman is going to approach Aaron Judge in this offseason. We saw in the Jeter documentary that Jeter wanted to come back on whatever deal he was looking for, and Cashman was like, well, I have 3 or 4 shortstops that I can go out and get that are better than you. And Jeter was like, okay, name them. So he named them, and things got really bad. So I wonder how
it won't work. That won't work. I wonder that won't work. Judge says that. All right, I'm gone. Goodbye. I'm leaving.
I wonder if Cashman's gonna be like, well, you're a regular season player. Tell me why you deserve more than someone like Mike Trout or Mookie Betts with that contract, and like let me know why you deserve that type of deal if you're non-existent in the playoffs. It's gonna be really interesting.
But that won't work because, again, with the Giants, you said that the Dodgers were making room. The Giants came out and said that no matter what, they won't be outbid for Judge. They won't be outbid. So Judge will get that money somewhere. San Francisco will give it to him. I'm sure the Mets would give it to him. I'm sure the Mets would offer him it. I don't think he would go to the Mets, but I'm sure they'd offer it. And if Cashman does look him in the face and say that, go to the Mets. Like, I would go to the Mets. Just fuck you. I'll go to the Mets.
Brian, what do you think about that whole situation, at least potential situation with Cashman and how he might approach Judge in free agency?
I am going to say that I definitely want Judge back. He was so bad in the playoffs. Who else can agree to that? I don't know. I mean, Cashman's going to be Cashman. I feel like they didn't really want to pay him before the season, and especially after the playoffs. I don't know if he's going to be more inclined to give him a big contract now. Like, if they're the new age Yankees in the last 10 years, they've been afraid to give out these big contracts. I mean, we let fucking Bryce Harper, who's begging to be a Yankee, go to Philly, and he carried them to the World Series. Like, if they're not going to give him that money, I don't know if they're going to give Judge that huge contract. We know Judge means a lot more than just his play on the field to this team. I think, man, I don't know. And when we were talking about this during the season and preseason, I was like devastated at the thought of Judge being another uniform. But after watching that playoffs, I don't know if I feel the same way. I would hate it and be upset, but the way I would have felt like after, like, just based on the recency bias of what I just saw in the playoffs, like, I don't even know but one thing I will say, if they don't bring Judge back, they need to they won't do it though. But if they don't bring Judge back, I think nobody should be back. Like, blow everything up. If you're going to keep Judge, you got to build around him and try and do it with different guys. But if he's gone, everyone else should be gone.
And it's sad that you say that, because at that point you're wasting your Garrett Cole contract, and you're just throwing that pretty much in the trash. And things are not going to go well, I don't think, this offseason. We'll have to see. No. But I agree with you. If Judge walks, you got to blow it up, and it's time to just let the young kids grow, like Dominguez and Volpe and Peraza. Let these guys grow. What?
I don't know about it. Blow up the team, yes, but not the terms of just get the young guys in and rebuild. Because think about our lineup.
No, I'm not saying call them up now. I'm saying let them continue to grow in the minor leagues.
I think we should go out and make signings elsewhere. We should spend that money on a shortstop, on an outfielder, on a pitcher. Like, we should reallocate those funds.
Are you saying like a Trey Turner or someone that's more like mid-tier?
Like they could trade like Dansby Swanson, one of those big time shortstops. Correa, Turner, Swanson. Get Nimmo for the outfield. Get whoever for starting pitcher. Carlos Rodon, get him. Get Edwin Diaz. Just reallocate those funds. I don't want to see them completely blow it up and turn it into a full-fledged rebuild, because that would suck. We don't want to see a rebuild. And that's the last thing that Cashman Boone would want, because if we go through a rebuild with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone back, I feel like that doesn't make any sense. If you want to rebuild, Cashman and Boone should be gone. You should do it with a new group of guys that are going to lead the team to a rebuild. So I don't think they're going to go the rebuild route. I really don't think they will. I think they'll re-sign Judge and say, hey, run it back.
That's my biggest fear, though.
Yes, that would be horrible.
Like, if they run it back, this season, next season, and their off season all gets an F. No matter how well they play next season, of course, assuming if they make the World Series and win the World Series next year, then it wouldn't matter. But F, like, that would be an F of an off season. You cannot continue to run it back. I mean, I guess you can argue this year maybe they didn't run it back because they tried to switch things up with obviously they got rid of Gary and they got rid of Gio. But it didn't work. It didn't work, right? It didn't work. Like, I just feel like the biggest problem with the Yankees, at least at the moment, they just try to get too cute. Like, they don't make the obvious moves. Obviously, like, the obvious moves would have been like to get Correa and like pay him last offseason. But like Brian, you said, Bryce Harper. Like, Bryce Harper was begging to be a Yankee. Manny Machado was begging to be a Yankee. They both led their team to the National League Championship Series, and they both played well. And one of them is in the World Series right now. Who would have thought the Phillies would be in the World Series? And look what Bryce Harper's doing, leading them like a man possessed to the World Series right now. And all those funds that could have been allocated to someone like a Harper and a Machado are being allocated to players like
Donaldson,
Josh Donaldson, Aroldis Chapman.
I brought up that a while ago that this Donaldson, Chapman, Britton, and Rizzo are making the same combined AAV as Freeman, Harper, and Machado. Same combined.
That's the real problem. That they're trying to get too cute. They don't make the
Yes.
obvious moves.
They're
And people say,
mismanaging all their money, all their moves. They're getting away from being like the fucking Cashman said himself. We're a fully operational Death Star. We haven't seen that in the last 5 years. Like that's the only thing that would give me that hope is if they did that. Like other fans would complain like the Yankees buy their championships. Let's go do that. Like let's go buy another championship. Let's fucking get Correa. Let's get Verlander. Let's get everyone. Let's keep Judge. Like just do it. Like go do it. Like you said, they're trying to fucking like last year. Trying to get IKF and do something different, like that totally backfired on them. Like just everything they did this year was wrong, and everything they've been doing is wrong.
They had no business being in the ALCS against the Astros, and they even tried like we all were really excited about Oswaldo Cabrera coming up, and I thought he was like I said that was my prediction. I thought he was going to be a playoff hero. He was fucking miserable in the playoffs. He was horrible. They were all horrible in the playoffs because
add them to the list
because the Yankees try to get too cute, and that's the real issue here. They try to get too. Why would Oswaldo Cabrera not be, or why is that more of an obvious call up than your number 2 shortstop prospect Oswald Peraza? Because initially Cabrera was called up to be the shortstop for us. So what the hell happened there? Well, why are we getting too cute? Why are we not making the obvious moves? Why are we not making the moves that are right there in front of you?
Because they're scared to be wrong.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was about to say. They're scared to be wrong. And that's the serious that's the real issue here. And I don't think things are going to change. I really don't think things are going to change.
Not with the same people at the helm.
No, exactly. And it's really scary as a Yankee fan. And Brian, like, I agree with you. Like, you're the New York Yankees. You're a fully operational Death Star. You have the money. Go out and do it. But they're not gonna. They're not gonna do it.
Here's another tweet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I've seen arguments, and I've heard arguments from one of my friends too, that you can't just go out and buy and get every big time free agent. You don't have that kind of money. Like, yeah, you can't spend that much money on these players. Donaldson, Chapman, and Hicks, $56 million. Machado and Harper, $57 million. So it's not like we can't spend the money. We've spent the money. We have spent the money in the wrong places. Because like you said, they try to be too cute. We'll spend the money. It's not about, Brian's gone. But it's not about us not being able to spend more money, not being able to sign every big free agent, because we have used that money that we could have signed every big free agent with. We could have signed every big free agent. Like, and people, you say like, oh, that's such a Yankee fan thing. You just want them to buy everyone. They could have, because they spent $56 million on Donaldson, Chapman, and Hicks when Machado and Harper are 57. Just doesn't make sense, and they're fucking gonna do it again this offseason. They're gonna fucking do it again. They're gonna disappoint us. I sent a list from the New York Post of the checklist of what the Yankees could do. And it was like sign a shortstop, sign a starter, sign Edwin Diaz. Are any of that going to happen? They're going to get like a Andrelton Simmons, or they're going to get some guy and be like, oh yeah, we like what we saw on tape and he's going to be really good.
They'll probably go out and get like Ian Happ. That's probably what'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah. To replace Judge.
Yeah. To replace Judge. They'll probably let Benintendi walk. Like it's like that. Like to me, that's an obvious re-sign. Benintendi's an obvious re-sign. Like will they do it? I don't know. But they need to make the obvious moves. That's the issue for me. And they never do it. They never do it. At least recently, they haven't done it. The last couple of seasons. I don't know. It's really frustrating. I don't even like to think about it.
I hate them. I hate them. Like I hate them.
Like everything that we had, everything that this podcast has built up this entire season, our Yankee of the Weeks, all those Yankee of the Weeks are wasted. They're all wasted because the Yankees came out and just shit the bed in the playoffs. It's just, but like it's expected though, right? I mean, they do this every year. They've been doing this since, I can't say 2017 because 17 they shocked people, but since 2018 this is what's been going on, and it's just it's despicable. It really is. It really, really is.
I want Torres gone.
And Denny, they've
my main
already,
guy.
Denny, they've already. We just got a text from Brian. He's saying his Wi-Fi isn't working, so we'll just try to keep it between me and Danny for now until Brian can fix it or whatever happens there. But Danny, they're already starting to make excuses for injuries. DJ LeMahieu, Benintendi. Trying to think off the top of my head of who else we had injured. But they're making excuses, Danny.
Carpenter.
Carpenter, it's already happening. Danny, Carpenter had one of the most miserable playoff series
It was so bad.
or playoff in general I've ever seen in my life. I've ever seen. A lot of these guys have some of the most miserable playoff I've ever seen ever.
Yeah.
And
I was at game 3, and I never thought I would say this about a Yankee playoff game. I wish I wasn't. I wish I didn't go.
was that the game they lost 5-0?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, another point about being mismanaged. Like everyone was saying, Michael K came out and criticized Boone on the Michael K show, saying, like, you bring someone in there in that situation with bases loaded, no outs with Garrett Cole on the mound for strikeouts. Like, wouldn't you want your best strikeout pitcher in Garrett Cole on the mound over Lou Trevino?
Yeah, or bringing someone out of the pen like Jonathan Loizaga or someone that gets strikeouts. I think they're trying to save Loizaga for when it's an emergency, to use his ALDS terms. They're saving Loizaga for when it's emergency late in the game. But what happens to playing the matchups? Like, you can't just say wait till the end of the game when we're in a chance, because those 3 runs score. Now we're out of the game forever. We're out of the game. We're not scoring 5 runs. We're done. It's too cute.
I don't know where the logic is. Literally so much we can unpack about the
Game
Yankees.
2, the Clark Schmidt coming in, he got out of it great, but then he left him in for the next inning, gave up 2 home runs. It just
And that's another thing. Michael K called him out on the Michael K show and was like, "Don't you think that's a pretty big spot to ask for Clark Schmidt? I mean, the guy's like 24 years old, his first playoffs ever." And like the Yankees had their guys rested for that going into that game. Like they were more than capable of bringing in someone else that could have been high leverage there. It's just constant outmanaging, constant getting too cute, and the Yankee players don't help either though. Like the lineup, like they don't put the ball in play. Like when you're not
They're
putting the ball in
soft.
play, you're striking out 16, 17, 18 times per game. You're not going to win.
No.
That's why they need. Wow, this is bad. This guy keeps joining and leaving. You're not gonna go anywhere with that kind of situation. It's just not gonna happen.
fuck, man.
Yeah, literally.
Just, and the fact that nothing is changing, and Hal came out and said, I think Boone is a great manager. He's been awesome.
And look,
nothing
Danny,
wrong with him.
Maybe about what you said about Boone earlier, like maybe not much won't change if the Yankees fire Boone and bring someone else in, because maybe it really is Cashman and
Yes,
and the
I
front office.
fully believe that.
That's a fair point, but
Like, yeah, I think Boone has to go too with a new GM coming in, but I think the GM's got to go first.
well, it's never gonna happen though. That's why it's not even worth talking about, because it's never gonna
Like
happen.
we always say, when you have an owner and a GM that are best friends, that's what happens.
I mean, I feel like, to me, looking as a fan, Trey Turner is the obvious move.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he brings you everything.
Dude, we have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for another year. What do you mean?
Such a fair point. Such a fair point.
I mean, Carlos
Um,
Rodon too.
Just wanted to update quick on the Brian situation. He just texted us to say, "Tell them I say sorry. I couldn't finish the episode because of my Wi-Fi. Thanks for listening all year." And again, yeah, thank you to everyone who's been listening all year, and even right now who's listening right now, if you've made it this far with us. But yeah, I mean, Danny, I'm gonna ask you. I guess we've pretty much covered a lot, pretty quickly actually. I'm gonna ask you what you want this offseason. What do
Really?
you?
I thought we were gonna have an off-season episode after the World Series, but all right.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. We'll do that. We'll leave it. We'll leave that. We'll stay tuned for that. That's fair. We'll do that.
I mean, I could give like a little bit.
Keep it. Save it. Keep it for wraps.
All right.
But I don't know. I don't know what else to say, Danny. I'm pretty
Horrible season. Horrible season. Fun at times, but bad. Bad. It's always bad when it ends this way.
Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give.
Dude, getting swept by the Astros. Oh my god. We deserved it too. And at this point, I feel like they could. Here's the 2 excuses they're gonna use, right? Or the 2
Injuries.
things they're gonna say to make it sound better. DJ and Benny were hurt, like they already said. So we're gonna run it back with the same team. Just re-sign Benny, re-sign DJ, run it back with the same team. It's gonna be all good. That's gonna be one. And that's gonna be a problem. 2, we made it to the ALCS. We were right there. We were right there in the ALCS. Like, yeah, I'm honestly happy they got swept by the Astros, because I was happy that they got swept, because I thought that would be like, fuck, we're not close. Light a fire into that. Shit's got to change. Let's go. Get Cashman out. Get Boone out. Make all these big signings, which I don't think is going to happen with these signings. But no, it's not, because we made it to the LCS. We're right there. We don't need that much. We're right there. almost wish we lost in the ALDS, because if we lost to the Guardians in the ALDS, that had to do something, right? Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's they're that's the most concerning part to me is that they got swept and they're not going to do anything. Like early initial reports before the World Series has been played is that they're not really going to do much to change things. They're going to try to re-sign Judge. If they can't, so be it. Like that's pretty much what it seems like is going to happen this offseason.
I hope they prove us wrong.
I do as well. I don't know. I think that I'm pretty frustrated. That's all I have to say though. I mean about this entire episode about what happened, what transpired. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Horrible. They should be ashamed. Everybody should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of the fucking attitude too. You can say soft. Boone's reaction to K's thing, because Boone was on the Michael K show. Boone was like, "You're unbelievable." Like almost, he was like surprised that K pressed him. Surprised that K was just saying what actually has happened, because nobody in the media does that. That's why we always say we wish we were in the media, because we would just be like, Boone, what the fuck, man? What are you doing?
But props to Michael K for asking the tough questions though.
Finally, someone had to.
Someone's finally doing it. But we get the same answers. We get the same 5 answers.
I know.
It's almost like the Yankees personnel is trained to say the same answers over and over and over. Like they're brainwashed.
Yeah. And the quote about the fans being upset that they'd be like surprised and couldn't believe that they were booing Judge. Come on, dude. Come on. You are soft. Jeter in 2004.
We didn't even talk about the ALCS, the 3-0 comeback for the Red Sox tape that they showed to the team.
Oh my God.
We have to talk about that. We have to talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Right, if you want to finish your point though on the boos and Jeter.
Well, Derek Jeter got booed in 2004. And he came out and said about it, yeah, I mean, they should boo us. We're playing horrible. We deserve to be booed. But then you get this Yankee team like, I can't believe they booed us. What? Like, well, we're trying our best. We tried. Ugh. Ugh. God. Ugh. Fucking bitches. Every single one of them. I don't want any of them back besides Judge. Fuck everyone. And Rizzo.
I want Rizzo back, but that's
I want Rizzo. And Stan,
everybody else can go.
I want Torres in the KBO. I don't think I don't want him here anymore. I want him gone. I fucking hate that guy. And everybody always says, just wait. He's a playoff performer, even through all his struggles. He's a playoff performer. He's not.
And I'm one of those people that playoffs,
but I said he's not the same guy. He's turned into such a fucking little bitch. I knew he wasn't going to do good in the playoffs because that's who he is now. He's a fucking, I'm not going to say that word, but he's a fucking bitch that was never going to succeed in the playoffs. Because he's not built for the spotlight anymore. Maybe if he was batting ninth and he didn't feel the pressure, then yeah, maybe he would have done well. But I knew if he's 5 or above, 6 or above in the lineup, he wasn't fucking doing shit, and he proved it. I hate him. I've said I love Glaber. I was like one of the first. I loved Glaber forever. Loved him. He was one of my favorite players. Loved him. Hate him now. Fucking hate him. I want him gone. I can't look at his face for another season. I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Glaber supporter. I love Glaber, but he didn't do it. I kept saying to you guys, he's a playoff performer. He'll show out. He'll do his thing. But just like the rest of the team, he didn't do it. And I don't know what's gonna happen. I think Glaber has played his final game as Yankee. I do. I think it's over.
I hope so.
I think the Yankees are grooming Volpe to be a second baseman. I would hope that they're gonna let Peraza play short next year, and I think they're gonna let DJ man third base, and they're gonna retain Rizzo. I don't think Volpe will come up next year, so I think they'll probably have another stopgap situation.
If we bring Volpe up, I'm kind of fine with that being our infield. I don't love putting in a lot of young guys. I know everybody says, "Oh, let the kids play." But if there's an option to go out and
there needs to be a balance.
What?
There needs to be a good balance.
Yeah, but if there's a way to go out and get studs, go out and get studs. Don't just wait for these young guys. But I'm fine with both the young guys playing in the infield if we allocate funds elsewhere, either in the starting rotation, in the bullpen, in the outfield. But if we just have, if like Cabrera, Volpe, and Peraza are all in the lineup on opening day, I kind of probably won't love that. Depending on what they do with the rest of the team. But
let me ask you this. What if they have from left to right, DJ, Peraza?
DJ? Oh, okay. Infield, not left to right.
Sorry. DJ at third, Peraza at short, Volpe at second, Rizzo at first. Or no, I'm completely saying the wrong thing. I didn't want to say that. What I meant to say was DJ at third, Trey Turner at short, Volpe at second, or not Volpe at second, Peraza at second, because I don't think Volpe will come up that early next year. So Peraza at second, Rizzo at first. And then in right field, you have Oswaldo Cabrera. In center field, you have Bader. Left field, you have whoever it is, Benintendi, and you let Judge walk, and you let and you get Trey Turner.
What do we do? Do we sign Rodon?
Allocate the funds. Say they get Trey Turner, and they get, I don't know. I won't say Rodon because they're not going to get Rodon. Say they get, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just say they allocate their funds elsewhere to balance out the team a little more contact, less players relying on power, less strikeout hitters.
But Judge doesn't rely. Judge isn't like a guy that relies on power. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And with the shit, that's tough. It all depends on what does the rotation look like. Did we improve the bullpen a lot? Because I don't think just Trey Turner makes up for the losing Aaron Judge.
Oh no, I think it'll. I mean, at the end of the day, Judge is the MVP. Like, it'll probably make us worse in the regular season. I don't know about the playoffs, but it'll make us worse in the regular season for sure.
Yeah. So I wouldn't love that. No, I mean, I would like the change. I guess that we're seeing something new, but no, I think unless we get, that means we got a big time starter and a big time reliever, then maybe I could get on board with that. But just Trey Turner doesn't make me happy with losing Judge.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's not happening anyways. We're not getting Trey Turner.
Yeah, no, it's not. No,
Trey Turner's probably a Philly.
That'd be cool.
Everyone keeps saying Trey Turner prefers the East Coast, so I would hope that the Yankees would at least make some type of offer to him. I mean, he to me is a perfect shortstop. I mean, I love Trey Turner.
Oh, he's awesome. Best in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's all I got, Danny. We'll do.
We didn't talk about the
the video. The video.
Yeah.
Okay. So I could do it. So pretty much after Game 3, when the Yankees were down 3-0, for Game 4, Aaron Boone and co. brought the Yankees into the film room, and they played highlights and interviews and the documentaries of the 3-0 comeback from the Boston Red Sox on the 2004 Yankees from that ALCS, which is known as one of the darkest days in Yankee history because, I mean, that's the only team to ever come back 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes.
Only team, Red Sox, to ever come back 3-0 against the Yankees in the 2004 LCS with your captain on the team, with your Derek Jeters, your Mariano Riveras. I mean,
right after signing A-Rod, stealing A-Rod from...
Like, this is like the team that I guess we can say that we kind of grew up on, not necessarily 2004, but the players that we grew up on. And the Yankees decided to use that as motivation for this year's Yankee team. And they brought David Ortiz to talk to the Yankee players about coming back 3-0. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it's pretty unanimous in Yankee land that this was, what are they doing? This is just weird. And former Yankee players are coming out and they're saying, what is this? What is this? Yeah. Danny.
My favorite part about the whole thing is Boone. Of course, he says it to the media like, yeah, we did this. We got the 04 videos everywhere. Our mental trainer is awesome. Bragging about it. He sounds like Russell Wilson bragging about doing high knees on the plate.
Yeah,
no, it's not cool. It's not cool. Everybody hates you. Nobody's going to be like, wow, you're awesome. No, you suck. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The worst moment in Yankees history. David Ortiz, who has killed the Yankees forever. They've killed the Yankees. And that 04 was kind of the switch of the Red Sox and the Yankees. Like in the Jeter documentary, like you said, like you've brought up. Jeter in 03, like, yeah, we're going to beat them. They're the Red Sox. Whatever. We always beat the Red Sox, sure. But that 04 flipped it.
Yeah, flipped the switch.
We can look at what happened. The Red Sox have eliminated us multiple times now in the playoffs. And is the last time we beat them in the playoffs 2003?
The Red Sox? Right? Yeah.
Because they eliminated us in 04. They beat us in 18. They beat us in 21. So, like, it really, that is the turning point of history. That's changing history of the Red Sox now being better than the Yankees. The Red Sox now in the last let's say since 2004, the Red Sox have been a more prolific franchise than the New York Yankees have. Obviously, you say the Yankees are the most prolific franchise in all sports, which is true. But if you look at recency bias from '04 to now, the Red Sox have been better. The Red Sox have been a better franchise than them. And to use that as motivation now to get fire Yankee players up, just no sense from Boone. No sense from Boone. And then to brag about it is the worst. Ugh.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I almost feel like Boone was looking for like a pat on the back. Like, okay, like I can see what this guy's going for. Like, this is a good move. This is a good, like, no, it backfired. Like, and not only that, but Danny, they got swept right after that. Like obviously it didn't work. Like, obviously, like it did nothing for the players. It's I'm sorry. It's actually like it's funny. Like my face is beat red right now because I'm like holding in laughter at how funny it is. This is the current state of the New York Yankees that were asking the Red Sox for advice on coming back 3-0 in a playoff series against our daddy Houston out. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It will never make sense. Maybe if it was like a 3-0 comeback by like, I don't know, I'm just naming a random Major League Baseball team like
the Padres against the Twins,
Padres or the Cincinnati Reds. Like, I don't know.
Cincinnati Reds,
like,
don't make
a
it
random team. Like, fine. Like, if you want to bring in former players to talk about that to the play, like, sure, yeah, I'm all for it. But if you're bringing in the Red Sox and, like you said, David Ortiz, someone who's historically absolutely murdered us, what are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe Boone was just a little salty that he was left off the 2004 roster because of Alex Rodriguez, because he tore his ACL playing basketball. But
Boone was probably rooting for the Red Sox in 2004.
It's just to sum up everything. It was really, really ugly. This postseason was really. They had no business going to 5 games against Cleveland. They had no business being in the American League Championship Series where they got swept by the Astros. It's like Brian said, couldn't have said it better. Eye opener. But like we covered, I don't think it's going to open many eyes.
Yeah, but again, like we were Final Four. We were Final Four. We don't have to change much. We were literally Final Four. We were right there. We were Final Four. We don't have to change anything. Were we really one of the top 4 best teams in the league?
I don't even know if they were top 8, dude.
Were we top 6, like to make the playoffs? Were we?
Dude, I think you can argue that like yes, we beat the Guardians, but I think that you can argue that the Guardians like they could have taken a game on Houston, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
with their pitching.
Danny, the Astros.
They got a clutch hit. They got in clutch hits.
Like again, another thing that you mentioned, the Astros beat us with the home run. Like they beat us with the long ball.
That's how it was gonna work.
And if the Yankees, or at least if the Guardians could have easily put up a couple runs with the situations that the Yankees had, getting on base and cashing them in.
Yeah, the Astros lineup isn't one for like the contact and all that. Like you'd say, they're better than us in all facets, but they really couldn't hit our pitching either. And the Guardians pitching staff is better than ours. So yeah, I totally think they could have took a game, at least one.
At least one. And it just goes to show why the Yankees have no belonging in the championship series. It's embarrassing. Changes need to be made. Next week we will, I guess, talk about specific changes, or I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna keep this weekly, the podcast. Maybe I'm sure we'll probably have our off-season episode right when the World Series ends. But I guess stay tuned for that. I can't see us doing a weekly episode during the off-season just because not much really happens.
We got some ideas of what we could do. I feel like
like we'll pop in here and there, but to obviously talk about some big news, like pop in for like maybe a quick 20-minute episode, 15-minute episode, but I don't know. We'll take it as it comes, but that's all I got, Danny. Unless if you have anything else you want to get off your chest.
No, damn good. Thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you, Chris Minsky's. Papu, happy birthday, Papu. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Papu.
But yeah, looking forward to the offseason, kind of. Hopefully they pleasantly surprise us.
Yeah, right. Anyways, thank you all for listening. As Danny said, thank you again. I'm going to say it again for listening all season. If you've been listening all season, keeping up with us, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spreading the News. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at official STN Pod. Make sure to follow us on TikTok at Spreading the News. You can see it all in the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. And I think that's covered everything. Did I miss something? I don't know if I did.
Fuck the Yankees. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck Gleyber Torres. Fuck Boone. Fuck Cashman.
All of them, dude. All of them.
All of them. Except Baron was real cool.
We will see you, everyone. We will see everyone after the World Series for an off-season episode.
Wait. What you got? What you got in the World Series? What do you got?
Ooh. You know, dude, it really does seem like Philly's year. Really does. But it's the Houston Astros. So like I don't know. I mean,
See,
like when I say Philly's year, I mean like the city of Philadelphia. Like the Eagles are insane.
yeah, the Eagles are the best team in the league. They're
Phillies
creating a
are
dynasty.
insane.
This ain't a football podcast.
True, but
What do you got? What do you
the
got?
Sixers are good. I don't know. What do I got? I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go with Philadelphia. I'm gonna go with the Phillies. It's their year. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Phillies. I'll say Phillies in 7.
Okay. See, I think I would say the Astros, but we've seen it with these Astros. They lost to the Braves last year, the hotter team. They lost to the Nationals, the hotter team.
Great
What
point,
does the
yeah.
best team win in the playoffs? Does the best team win in the playoffs?
The hottest team wins.
No.
in the playoffs,
The hottest
always.
team, and the Phillies are the hottest teams. Let's go Phillies in 6.
Well,
Phillies in 6.
If we're being completely honest, I think you can make the argument that the Astros are the hottest team in the playoffs.
No, not their offense. Not their
Considering they're
offense.
undefeated through the DS and the CS, but
Well, yeah, but their offense hasn't shown that. It's been their pitching staff. Their
It
offense
really-
hasn't shown the dominant
it
hot.
really does just feel like, what do they call it? Redtober or Red October? Is that what they're
Red
calling
October.
it?
Red October.
It really does feel like Red October here in October. So
I'm
we'll see
excited to
what
watch. It will pain me to watch without the Yankees in it, as it always does every year. But I'll still watch. I love baseball.
What do you have? Phillies in what?
6.
6? I'll say Phillies in 7.
Did you see what dickhead Kyle Tucker said?
Yeah, like hopefully, like
Yeah, hopefully we'll win in 4, make it easy.
Yeah.
But
that'll backfire. Anyways, thank you all for listening. I gave you the socials before. We'll see you next week on our off-season or when this next World Series ends, when the World Series ends. And that's all I got.
Yep.
All right. See you guys.